Hello everyone and welcome back to iNews. I was taking a break to write my semester tests, but this news that is currently circling social media is too hard to ignore. After the disaster of the national dialogue and our president asking an unemployed youth why we are poor while so few live in opulence, all claims in this video are allegations and investigations are still underway.
We also need to ask ourselves, why do so many people live in abject poverty and so few live lives of opulence? Why, after decades of democracy, are the prospects of a white child so much better than those of a black child? We need to ask ourselves that. We also need to ask ourselves, why do women get paid less than men for the same work? That's what we need to ask ourselves. Now, we also must go deeper and ask ourselves why, when we have a Bill of Rights in our Constitution, are the LGBTQI+ people still discriminated against? Why are they still stigmatized and harassed? Why do clinics run out of medicine? Are questions that we must ask ourselves. And why do taps run dry? These are some of the questions that we must be willing to ask and which we must be prepared to find answers for. But more than that, my fellow South Africans, these are the challenges that we must be ready to do something about. As individuals, as organizations, as communities, as parents, as elected representatives, and as public officials.
We may have an answer in the current scandal on everyone's lips. A large part is exploitation of the desperate and vulnerable. Currently, many social influencers including Cyan Bougie, Pink Fur, Seema are under fire for promoting an apparently fraudulent vocational program.
African authorities are investigating allegations that Russian companies are recruiting young women under the guise of overseas employment. The recruitment efforts claim to address both Russia's labor shortages and South Africa's unemployment rate. But reports suggest that jobs advertised in sectors including construction and hospitality may in fact place workers in drone production factories instead. Authorities are now scrutinizing these schemes amid growing concerns over the possible exploitation of vulnerable individuals, particularly in light of previous human trafficking cases.
Russia has been advertised as a great chance for young women, mostly from African countries, to get good jobs and training in Russia. It promises things like decent pay, accommodation, and a career boost, often shared through social media. But many women who join the program say the reality is very different. Instead of the promised jobs in hospitality, many end up working in factories assembling drones used in the Ukraine war, often without knowing what they were getting into until they arrived. These women, mostly aged 18 to 22, face tough working conditions. They work long hours for low pay, are often watched closely, and have limited freedom to leave or contact others. Some have said they were exposed to harmful chemicals that cause skin problems. These reports come from trusted organizations like the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime and news outlets like Deutsche Welle, DW, which talked to several women about their experiences. Investigations by Interpol and warnings from governments in Africa, including South Africa, suggest this may be a form of human trafficking, where people are tricked or forced into exploitative work. The program keeps strict rules allowing only young women between 18 and 22 to join, which has raised suspicion. Some recruiters involved were even school officials who might not have known about the harsh reality in the factories. The Russian government denies these claims, but many international sources see this as exploitation hidden under false promises. The whole situation shines a light on how vulnerable young women are being misled and trapped into working in dangerous and unfair conditions far from home. South Africa has one of the highest unemployment rates in the world, and as of the second quarter of 2025, the official unemployment rate stood at 33.2%, an increase from 32.9% in the previous quarter. This means over 8.4 million people in the country are without jobs, struggling to find steady employment amid tough economic circumstances. Of particular concern is the youth unemployment rate, which measures joblessness among those aged 15 to 24, and remains alarmingly high at about 62.2%. This figure has persisted above 60% for several years, indicating a systemic, long-term challenge in integrating young people into the workforce. Young women face an even harsher reality, with unemployment rates for females exceeding those of males and being notably higher in provinces hardest hit by poverty. These women, mostly aged 18 to 22, face tough working conditions. They work long hours for low pay, are often watched closely, and have limited freedom to leave or contact others. Some have said they were exposed to harmful chemicals that cause skin problems. These reports come from trusted organizations like the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime and news outlets like Deutsche Welle, DW, which talk to several women about their experiences. Investigations by Interpol and warnings from governments in Africa, including South Africa, suggest this may be a form of human trafficking, where people are tricked or forced into exploitative work. The program keeps strict rules allowing only young women between 18 and 22 to join, which has raised suspicion. Some recruiters involved were even school officials who might not have known about the harsh reality in the factories. The Russian government denies these claims, but many international sources see this as exploitation hidden under false promises. The whole situation shines a light on how vulnerable young women are being misled and trapped into working in dangerous and unfair conditions far from home. This vulnerability is exploited by traffickers who use sophisticated scams targeting unemployed youth. Fraudulent job offers, especially those promoted through social media, lure young women with promises of well-paid positions abroad, professional training, or career advancement. South African officials and human rights groups have reported increasing use of social media influencers, often trusted local celebrities or digital personalities, to promote such schemes on platforms like TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. These influencers provide a veneer of legitimacy that attracts vulnerable women seeking legitimate work, what appears like a hopeful pathway out of economic despair. The desperation caused by unemployment is tightly linked to a psychological phenomenon known as a hope exploitation. When facing bleak prospects, people cling to hope offered by recruiters or intermediaries. Traffickers prey on this hope by exaggerating or fabricating job opportunities, often targeting young women from poorer communities or townships with fewer economic options. The lack of employment has created a fertile environment for traffickers advertising roles abroad, in sectors ranging from hospitality to manufacturing, that turn out to be deceptive fronts for forced labor or exploitation. And the very worst of humanity is taking note.
Why is nobody in South Africa talking about this? Because this is absolutely insane. Nearly 200 South Africans are reportedly trapped in Thailand after being lured into a human trafficking ring. Yes, you heard that right. Nearly 200. Now, apparently, they were lured into the country through advertisements on social media. These advertisements said they were looking for young South African professionals, proficient in English, computer literate, and qualified in IT or marketing. They were promised well-paying jobs, free accommodation, and travel benefits as well. However, when they arrived, along with thousands of other victims from around the world, they were apparently forced into brutal treatment, physical torture, and forced labor, working 16 hours a day. And all of this literal slavery is allegedly at the hands of a Chinese mafia network. This sounds absolutely unreal, but it's happening apparently. 26 of these South Africans have thankfully been rescued and brought back to South Africa. However, almost 200 remain stranded in Southeast Asia at the moment, and our government is apparently working with various groups to try and bring them back home. I'll keep you guys posted.
Human trafficking is an age-old crime, with one of its most persistent and heartbreaking features being the use of other women to recruit young women into exploitative situations. This form of recruitment is not new but has a long history dating back to times when trafficking for forced labor, prostitution, or other exploitative practices was often hidden within community and family networks. Women who acted as recruiters were often trusted members of the community, mothers, sisters, neighbors, or friends, who could more easily convince vulnerable young women to leave home with false promises of opportunity, safety, or care. Think about it, most of these influencers are young and have young audiences who are probably looking up to them as people who have made it in a difficult world. Their access to resources most of their fans might never know with these levels of unemployment. Some may never have a job. So having this example of hope, someone you are connected to seemingly bring you this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity sounds amazing, and of course they do their research. Did they?
I am in Russia, the Republic of Tatarstan. Very excited to be here. This is where the START program takes place. Apparently, girls are treated fairly here. Africans, Asians, Latin Americans, they're given housing, jobs, and on top of that, they are taught how to speak Russian. Yep. So this is a fresh new start, basically. I will be watching, listening, I'll be sharing every single thing with you guys. I need you to stay tuned. And
who's working in the hospitality industry.
Yes, and
what's the rest of it?
No. The interview questions are the same for each participant.
Oh, okay.
So like samples.
Okay.
But you can ask whatever.
Yeah, like it can be the type of how to say a live dialogue, something like this. Yeah. I wanted to ask, how long have the girls also been working? It depends. Some of them are working already like for 2 years maybe, or not for 2 years, for 1 year and get promoted.
So the program is being operating since 2022. So there are old ones who has been working for 2.5 years, and there are participants who has arrived just recently. So it depends.
But then also another concern that people were flagging for the most part is, why is it only females that get to participate in the program? Why not males also?
Oh, so today we will have interview with HR presentation of the program. He will explain everything that you will ask him. He will elaborate on this.
Okay. Yeah, because there are lots of questions. Why just girls? Why just from 18 to 22?
Yes.
Something. Yes. So that's why we invited our HR specialist. She'll have a presentation and tell you all the details why it's all like that. So you guys don't have the answers to that? No, we do have.
Нет, ответы. Она говорит про ответы. We have answers. Like why girls? Because they are more hardworking. They are more attentive to details and so on. And why the age? It's ideal age to kickstart career. And for example, after this program, they know Russian language and they can enter Russian university. So it's better for them, because at the age of 25, some people already have families, children. I think. Помоги мне. Я говорю, что у людей уже семьи.
Yes, for example, this is the age when you start to build your
Personality.
Yeah, to build your personality. You are you want to know something new, you want to learn something, because at the age of 23, 25, for example, you already have some your life figured out. Yeah, something like this. So this program is for young girls who are just ready to start something new like this. Yeah. So is there ever going to be a program for boys as well?
So they are planning, but I don't know when it will be. Actually, I know that Indian males are coming here for construction.
so there's a rumor that apparently anyone who enters the START program can't go back home. Is that true?
No, that's not true. You can go back home.
Since you've been here for 3 years, have you been able to go back home?
I was home for another reason. I was home last year. Yes.
Oh, so you do go home?
Yes, if you want to, yes, you can go home.
What would you say to your younger self now?
Well, I would say well done.
Really? So how fluent are you with the language, and how easy or hard was it to adapt to a new society altogether and learning a new language, of course?
So the beginning is hard. I'm just going to be very sincere. Yes, it's hard because you have to get used to working and schooling, which can be very tedious at some points. Language, we have teachers, and then we have HRs that speak English and they take you around. And then we also have like girls that have already been here. So all you need to do is just ask for help. Then they help you with stuff.
Are you happy?
Here?
Yes.
Imagine being promised a brighter future only to have your freedom stolen. For weeks, we've been exposing the hidden truth behind the Russian Alabuga Start program. They lure young African women with dreams of jobs, education, and opportunity in Russia. But once you step through those doors, it's not hope you find, it's exploitation. These girls are forced into military factories, assembling war drones and handling dangerous chemicals without protection. They're kept under constant surveillance, trapped in a dorm they can't leave, and told to keep silent. I thought I was coming for education. Now I work with toxic substances every single day. I'm living a nightmare. Worse still, they are chosen because of their dark skin. The officials claim it makes them more resistant to harmful chemicals. They must pay for their own food during their first months, and when they finally earn a wage, it's swallowed by hidden costs, leaving them with nothing to send home. This isn't an opportunity, it's modern-day slavery, a new, brutal exploitation of African women for foreign military gain. Don't let this injustice go unnoticed. Share this video and spread the truth.
While there must be a clear boundary of responsibility, it is also clear influencers do have a responsibility to ensure that the information they spread is somewhat confirmable. In many of the videos, it seems as though the influencers themselves could not confirm what these young women had to do. Also, they were guaranteed promotions every 6 months to where and what did that entail? It is in these murky waters that most trafficked women find themselves trapped. Also, Russia being at war should give anyone pause in advertising job postings. Often foreign people, particularly black people, find themselves shelved off and ignored in times of war as government prioritize their own citizens.
African migrant domestic workers in Lebanon are stranded in an active war zone because their employers are not interested in keeping them safe. Kafala is originally an Islamic adoption system, but today it's known as a system that enables modern-day slave labor from sub-Saharan Africa and other vulnerable parts of the world. Once workers reach their host countries, they're usually made to give up their passports and residency permits, leaving them at the mercy of total strangers. Human Rights Watch reported that every week, one migrant domestic worker dies from unnatural causes in Lebanon, namely suicide or from attempting to escape. Local police and the African embassies in the host countries generally refuse to step in when women reach out for help. Now, with Israel bombing Lebanon, this community is intentionally being left behind by their employers. In one case, 29-year-old Kenyan Melissa Wangari told the New Humanitarian that her employers not only left her behind as their village came under Israeli fire, but that they took her passport with them.
Many are under fire and are coming online to defend themselves, but it is not looking good.
Hey guys, hope you guys are well. I'm not feeling too well, so please do bear with me. But I want to address this whole situation that's happening with this Alabuga thing. Guys, I don't even know. Because I was offline for like a day or two. Come back. My DMs are flooded. My comments flooded. I'm like, what's going on? So disappointed in Sima. What did I do? Like, what did I do now? You know? So I like look into it further. My FYP is full of this Alabuga situation, human trafficking, syndicates. So I'm trying to think, Alabuga. What's the thing that we did in Russia? I said, please, I go Russia. I'm like, okay. I'm listening to these videos. I'm listening further, you know. Yo, because I don't even know where to start. Because when I was approached, I was approached by this guy called Sia. So he's like a digital marketing manager or whatever, you know. So I worked with him before on a campaign. So he texts me on WhatsApp like, yo, do you have YouTube? I'm like, yeah, I do. Why? He's like, no, I want you to be part of these influencers who go to Russia, take content in their institution that side, and so on and so forth, you know. I think it was Russia. Okay, I guess. Then he's like, and yo, like, do you think Ghost would want to be part of this? I'm like, I don't know, let me ask. So I ask him, he's like, yo, okay, no stress, you know. He's like, no stress, cool. So now this guy's communicating with the both of us, like, separately, right? Because obviously, he can't know my rates, I can't know his rates, you know. Cool. Fine, everything goes smoothly. So I'm like, it's like, let me check this thing out. Let me, like, you know, check on social media who's been there. Check, you know. I go on social media and I check, and I'm like, okay, quite a few of them have went, okay, dope. They came back fine, but right, see, I don't think there's anything to be worried about. And also, I felt kind of safe because I was going with my partner at the time. So I'm like, okay, man, dope campaign, opportunity to leave the country, why not, you know? Fine, everything was smoothly, deposits come in, tickets come in, plane tickets come in. Go smooth, go right, like everything's going well, right? Cool. Then we get to Russia. Besides the security, like the boarding gates people, besides them being really, really rude, everything else went smoothly. Everything else was dope. There was this girl, this white girl that was showing us around, you know, taking care of us for the 3 days that we were there. We called her Issy because we couldn't pronounce her name, you know, call her Issy. Okay, cool. Showing us around, everything seemed normal, everything seemed fine. Like, I kid you the fuck not. Like, when we got to this place, right? Okay, we got to our hotel, everything was good. When we got there, they're like, oh, can we please take pictures with you? Because I don't know if they've never seen black people or what's going on. But these waiters like, yo, pictures, please. I'm like, okay, why not? Yeah. You know, everything was dope. Like, everyone was so nice. It was dope, you know. When we got to this institution, this Alabuga place, right? Ngathi factory nyana so. Kunengane eziningi, there's like a lot of kids, black, white, just students nje, you know, boys, girls, everything seemed normal to me. Do you get what I mean? Like, everything seemed so normal to me. Like, everyone was nice. I don't. Two of the girls that were part of this program, right? I asked them. Actually, I asked three. So I was like, the girls that I was at the sports center with. So I was like, yo, are you guys actually happy here? Like, like, are you guys good? They're like, yeah, dude, we're good. I'm happy. I'm fine. You know, so I asked them, like, do you go back home for holidays and stuff? They're like, yeah, we do go home for the holidays. Oh, okay, dope, right? And then kanjalo, when I come back, school, sharp. I just went on social media just to check where's went, and that was that. I didn't look into it, and I really apologize for being so ignorant and putting young women's lives in danger, you know. Flip, like, I don't even know what to do. Like, I've deleted the videos. I don't know how I can fix this. I don't know, guys, I don't know. I really don't know. But I really do apologize, guys. I am so sorry. Mina bengazi nkosi yami. Azangifaka ama-Russia. Wait, nkosi yami. I am so sorry, guys. Like, I don't know what more to do. Like, I'm just worried for the people that maybe have applied for this program. I don't know.
no, it's rumors and it's affecting their brand. That's why they had to stop in 2022. And now they're back again. And now all of that is coming back because apparently hononale a group of people, they never sebedisa the start program ba franta yona, and then ha motho a batla apply ba kenya link e different e resulting to human trafficking. So Tina, with the information that I received ene ba ntjitsa ka yona, that's what they told me. So there was nothing suspicious. About there was nothing suspicious. And le teng ne ke sa buile bona in front of the camera ha ne ke ba botsa dipotso tseo tse sensitive ne ke bua le bona before ba qala le go shoota and batho ba ha ba understand the language tsa rona. So obviously I felt comfortable ke ba botse ka language ya rona, especially ba tswang ko South Africa. So with that, I felt comfortable and I was like, okay, it's fine. The rumors are clearly not true. But now, hake research happened. The information is updated. So I don't know. At that time, so how soon dinto tse ding happens updated. I take full accountability.
Something fishy.
Yes, but then experience yaka namo, there wasn't anything fishy. Obviously, bakasimponti the side da dintho tse etsahalang behind closed doors because I'm an influencer and I have the influence to potentially let the people know what is going on exactly, and that can possibly ruin the brand. And they can't tell me those things and they won't show me. So they just showed me the good side if there's no bad side, you know, and if there is a bad side.
Desperate for looking for opportunities abroad, but it's very, very important if you are looking for opportunities to go work abroad that you need to contact your embassy and also the Human Traffic Hotline. The Human Traffic Hotline actually screens overseas jobs. If you have any form of uncertainty of a job, make sure that you verify that it's a legitimate job, that you work through the right agencies to actually work abroad.
Make of the fact that this particular ad does target young women between the ages of, I think it's 22 and 28. I might have the ages slightly off, but it's women in their early to mid 20s. Women, so specifically. What do we make of that?
Yes, correct. So for us working with sex trafficking for such a long time, this is a very high red flag and deep concern because we always look at the sex trade. What is the demand? It's looking for females. Why not males? Why only females? You know, we know that the sex trade are flooded with females that are, and then the sex trafficking is a very violent form of human trafficking. It is the amount of abuse and violence that goes apart with sex trafficking. So this is a high risk. And we know that even Russian women and even women from the Ukraine, Eastern European women are being sold into sex trafficking within Europe. So Russian women even are high trafficking. So why is there suddenly recruiting females from Africa? You know, what is the demand? The sex buyers, or, you know, who's demanding the females to come there? But obviously we don't have the evidence on the table yet, but it's from our side a high red flag for females to go into these areas to be recruited.
As you heard from an expert experienced in this field, there is a current high demand of women in Europe. Statistically, Black women are targeted by trafficking group as they are the least likely to be searched for. The 200 women found in Thailand are extremely lucky, and so are the women saved by the current news coverage of this program. Please do your research of these overseas programs thoroughly before applying. Contact the South African Embassy. The